Howdy, it's Jim Morado, and it's October 2022. We're driving around Roswell, Georgia. One of my new favorite little towns. I love this place. And we were here for a few days, and we had a really good time. Made a little road trip through the northern part of Georgia, and this kind of ended up being our main stop. And we really enjoyed this town. And it wasn't really on my radar until recently. And it's one of those towns that you kind of hear about, and you're like, it sounds okay. And then you get there and you're like, wow, this town is unbelievable. Yeah, anyway, we had a really good time here. We were close to their historic, they have a little historic district, and we spent some time there. And they had, for Halloween, they had some scarecrows kind of decorated along the streets that you'll see a little bit of here and there coming up. I think we've already seen a couple. Yeah, there's one. But this is a great town. And it blows my mind how much, how many cool little towns there are around Atlanta. You know, I think we've all switched airplanes in Atlanta. You just stop there and spend the night to break up your trip to Florida if you're coming down from Kentucky. And Atlanta can be traffic. It's a big city. And honestly, I don't get excited about Atlanta, but I get excited about these towns that are around Atlanta, especially kind of north of it. We came down, we went to Kennesaw Mountain, and we've been there several times. Marietta, another little town that I just love. And we discovered Roswell on this trip, Woodstock, Dalton, Ringgold. Ended up spending quite a bit of time, though, here. And also in Woodstock. And I'll put up videos on those other towns and some other places. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about Roswell. I found, there's a very kind of hip and trendy mall area with some kind of strip malls out beside it. You know, they've got that. They had an REI that I found. You know, it's got the standard nice stores, nice chain stores that I like. But we did find a whole lot of just other stuff. Anyway, as you can tell, we're just sort of driving around at the moment, though. Lots going on here. In the historic area, there's like a street, and I don't even know how to describe it, but it's almost, as you can kind of see here, there's areas where it's almost like houses have been turned into businesses. So you feel like you're in a nice neighborhood more than going to look at shops and businesses. I don't know how to describe it, but it was really cozy and neat, in my opinion. And we found a great coffee shop, Crazy Love Coffee. I'm going to put up another video on that later. But it was just really, really nice. Super Ginny. It's kind of a soup and sandwich chain, and I totally fell in love with that place. And I'd love to see that chain go national. I liked what they were doing. It's probably the kind of thing that it's too cool, and the concept might not work nationally. But anyway, I loved that place, and I'll put up another video about Super Ginny. But there's a ton of history here, and I would end up going to the Bullock Hall, where Teddy Roosevelt's parents were married. And I'll definitely put up a little video about that. But that was kind of a huge bonus. I've been hitting Teddy Roosevelt sites, and that was definitely a nice one to stop at. And what was weird is you've got this very kind of presidentially historic, and also, connections to the Civil War at Bullock Hall, too. There, Roosevelt family members served for the South. But what I found to be kind of an unexpected presidential connection is the home closest to Bullock Hall is where Jimmy Carter's aunt used to live. And President Carter was there a lot, and they now call that the Roswell White House. And I didn't get to go to Rock and Taco. I wanted to hit that, but I didn't get to. If you've been there, let me know if it's any good. But yeah, right next to Bullock Hall was Jimmy Carter's aunt's house, and she has since passed away. There are some lawyers there now that make that their office. It's not open to the public, but of course you can walk by, take your selfie and look at it, which I absolutely did. But it's just kind of interesting that two homes in this town with the most presidential significance are a baseball's throw away from each other. I wanted to give a quick mention to Mitzi's Gift Shop, which is right beside Bullock Hall 2. It's I don't know if it's the official Bullock Hall gift shop, but it's right there beside it. I mean, it pretty much, if you want some Bullock Hall gifts, that's the place to go to. And there was a very sweet lady running that place. I bet I ended up spending about an hour there, and I found some real treasures. I found some nice gifts. Got my Bullock Hall souvenirs, and big into the Civil War. And she had some back issues of Blue and Gray magazine, and I literally carry around a checklist of the issues I need at this point in my life. And I found several issues there I needed, and I was just really excited about that. Another thing I liked is at Mitzi's Gift Shop they had local books, and many of them were signed by the authors. And that's I'm always dumbfounded when I go to a bookstore in an area and they have local books but they're not signed by the authors. Why haven't they had those authors in for signings? And I am much more willing to pay full price for a book if it's autographed. Yeah, anyway, they had a great selection. And when I'm here again, I've done the tour of Bullock Hall. It was really cool. I can check it off the checklist though, but I'll definitely be back to Mitzi's. Yeah, but anyway, I wanted to mention those places. And of course, we were in this area kind of as part of a Civil War road trip. And, Kennesaw Mountain, I mentioned Marietta, where they have the Great Southern Museum with the General. The train, the General, is there. We went up to Ringgold. We went to Tunnel Hill. If you're doing a Civil War road trip, by the way, there's Jimmy Carter's aunt's house. I just kind of panned back to it, and we're about to, there's Bullock Hall. We're about to see that, just to give it a little bit of camera time. And of course, here at Bullock, you had some of Teddy's relatives who were fairly significant in the Civil War, and there's some cool write-ups about them and information about them when you do your tour. And again, I'm going to put up another video about that. Also, a small Margaret Mitchell of Gone with the Wind fame connection to this house. She did write an article about Teddy's dad and mom getting married, and she wrote that for a local paper. And yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Right there's Mitzi's that I mentioned. That is just one, even if you don't care about history, go there. They had some great local gifts and things like that. But yeah, we sort of did this, even though it's not a heavy Civil War area like you get around Georgia. It does have some Civil War connections and lots of cute businesses. Oh, like Super Jenny. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to put up a quick video about Roswell. If you live there, let me know what I missed. What else do I need to see there? If you visited, let me know what you thought. But I thought this was a great little town. I'm looking forward to my next visit.